Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Yeah, well, Ronnie-Ward from the Ditmas Park section of the Flatbush neighborhood, borough of Brooklyn, county of Kings, America. That's it. I'm back. I'm tightening it down because borough of Brooklyn and the county of Kings, the border around it, it's one land here with one contiguous border around it and coterminous. But it's borough of Brooklyn, county of Kings. And as best I can tell, the judicial authority that handled my housing situation, well, it's a housing court, but it's a court that meets in equity, period. And that's the housing court that adjudicated that that despite having a $20,000 in rents that I owed by the management company only, and I got an actual notice of eviction where you owe us this money and we're evicting you. I got the summons and service and I went to the housing court. I filled out the paperwork. It lists affirmative defenses. Affirmative defenses. So, which means it's a defense that when I assert it, it shifts the burden of proof. So when I check affirmative defense, then I'm asserting that the defense that I assert becomes, it switches the burden. All of a sudden, I am the appellee, the person filing it. All eviction's out completely. And now I assert these affirmative defenses. Now the management company has to prove their case to the satisfaction of what the affirmative defenses are beyond, well, more likely than not. And so it was easy for the housing judge to simply say, well, here's Mr. Ward's affirmative defenses. He checked these off, explained the blanks that we have on our form. Here's his sworn thing. So now, management company, this is Mr. Ward's sworn affirmative defenses. We're not talking about evictions. We're talking about you say Mr. Ward owes you $16,000. He's alleged everything properly. And furthermore, I'm the judge. And I know this much, that 70% of his total rent is paid by the federal government through a pass-through program. So even at that, he would only owe 30% of his rent. Well, I know what his rent is because you all said it, and he just had to do the math and simply say, well, my God, he can only owe 30% of the rent for so many months. And this is so much bigger than that. He just said, boom, threw it all out. Meaning, Mr. Ward doesn't have to pay a bill again. Because they were claiming out all this stuff. He said, just get the heck out of my court. Don't ever come back here again. Because this is housing. Mr. Ward's been all his business. Obviously, you're just harassing him. And you're a payment collection company. Well, bring back somebody who actually owns it then, and maybe we'll talk about it. That ain't ever going to happen. Therefore, at law, property law, if I'm living in a suite of rooms like this, and I have a lease on it through a government agency, and the government's still paying 70% of my rent, no matter what it is, every month. So the most he adjudicated was, well, Mr. Ward doesn't have to pay his 30%. Well, that makes sense because I'm in a protected class of individuals. People who are now or formerly have HIV, and that's why I get the money. So he says, well, Mr. Ward's always going to be covered, and if you get into his 35, so that's why I say I have a life estate. Because when you live in a place like this and you don't pay rent on it, that's the same thing as having a life estate. That's why I say that. But anyway, there's Mr. Lee. There was a video I saw on YouTube. Somebody going, Mr. Lee. There was Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron. I swear to God, this Mr. Lee is from Seoul, South Korea. I posted a video about it. Well, this Samsung phone, it's made in Samsung is a brand made in Seoul, South Korea. So I'm just wondering, did I find Mr. Lee somewhere if he's over there and ask him if he can solve the problem with his systems on his phone, and why is he making proprietary? Because they always clash with Microsoft and Google. Do you think I can make a trade complaint about that? Maybe if I say it's about trade or something, maybe United Nations or the president or somebody would care. But if I'm a persecuted survivor of the current Holocaust, that doesn't matter. Well, why don't you all research it? Maybe somebody let me know. And maybe I could do something to help some other people, because I am right here with the UN and all these people. And I can get in there and do things. The president doesn't come to New York City. He won't come up here. Well, one, he's not welcomed, and two, there's no reason. But if you have a care or something you might need, that might be helpful, or somebody in New York City, or something you need to check on, if you text me or something, call me, so I can check on it. Maybe you have business with the United Nations. Well, maybe that's what I'm saying. Well, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. If and but for to why, and you gotta watch your P, D, Q, and X, Y, Z's, and dot your I's and cross your T's. And so anyway, yeah, why is Manuel Macron, Brigitte Macron, and somebody named Mr. Lee something with Seoul, South Korea? What the heck are they doing? What the heck's the guy doing from Seoul, South Korea in Manhattan? That's a long way, isn't it? I don't know. Well, I'm really not happy now. I can't tell you how unhappy I am about the Korean conflict. The Korean conflict? The Korean conflict started just, I guess, once Eisenhower got fucked in Reims, France, I guess, by the French, I guess. Well, when they signed unconditional surrender, I guess the Germans and Americans are both out. I don't know. But we didn't get our spoils from that either. I guess they just started fighting in Korean, Manchurian, and China. I don't know. I do know. Yeah, you know what I know? I have this phone. I used Gemini AI. I did a detailed analysis of just the 20th Amendment to the Constitution, the 11th Amendment. Those are the only two amendments that matter. So the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, those don't matter. And the 21, 22, 23, 27, those don't matter. So there's just the 20th and the 11th, and then the 1 through 10 is the Bill of Rights, and then the Constitution itself. 13 original states, the Northwest Ordinance, which is before the Constitution, 5 states there, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And then there's land south of the Ohio River, which you would call Kentucky. Well, it's just land south of the Ohio River, because it was land south of the Ohio River. That is south of the Ohio River. Well, if you're going to say a name instead of Kentucky, it would just be Ken, like beyond my ken. Ken is an Irish thing or Sky saying Ken, thinking Kentucky. Kentucky. That's where Abraham Lincoln was born. His mom and dad is in a land. Before it was Kentucky, it was Kentucky or something. Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, I did a detailed analysis through Gemini AI about the Constitution, the dates and things, and the states, the order. Yeah, I got the whole thing worked out now, and just exactly how, people here who are devoted to the United States of America, United States, and those languages, those are all in the preamble and the Declaration and stuff, but we were cheated and swindled out of all of that, basically by European. Well, European or on England or whatever. Yeah. I'll tell you who did it. French, English, Irish, Scottish, I guess German. Well, Alexander Hamilton was from the Caribbean, so some other Caribbean people, whatever. Yeah, all those people beat out like people like my family who were really English and came here as English people. Those Mayflower people are nothing but, those are bad people on the Mayflower. And the Pilgrims in that boat or whatever, they were all rejected out of England as being misfits. And in fact, the English expelled a bunch of Irish people that were really bad over there too. They did, and sent them over here. So when Irish people arrived here, I want you to know something. When they arrived, they were Irish and Catholic. Well, they were treated like they were less than an actual dog or an animal by many people in New England, okay? But that didn't make them bitter either, because I got good friends who were Irish Catholic. And, yeah, but, yeah, it's just really so petty and self-centered and self-aggrandizement. That's funny. That's funny, isn't it? We have a word here, self-aggrandizement. Self-aggrandizement, meaning I do something that aggrandizes myself. When you say self-aggrandizement, isn't it funny? Self-aggrandizement. It sounds like aggrandizements of the parts of Paris. Isn't that weird? The aggrandizement, and I say self-aggrandizement. It's rather damning. I'm going to tell you, there's nothing over here in America that's French anywhere anymore. No, that's gone from here. They're nowhere over here. So I don't know why Emmanuel Macron and some people get to have a big blot of land called France. It's not theirs. They don't deserve it. So come on, Europe. Well, I'm going to get over there eventually to do and be helpful, but we're not going to have France. Period. So put a big wall around it. Name it something else. Let's call it Gaul again. Gaul. We'll just rename it Gaul and call them Gaulish or something. They don't care. They'll be happy. Just Gaul or whatever. It'll be fine. Instead of galling. Oh, what was I going to do? Oh, well, I'm on this phone, so I can't do it. But anyway, I did a detailed analysis on the whole Constitution thing to show by the amendments, the 11th and 12th, and by date, to show you how we were swindled. So I can get that before the Supreme Court so that they don't feel bad like I'm just beating them up by saying their oral arguments for January and February led me to the conclusion by listening with my ear to their oral argument conversation that they